Everybody, happy Friday. This is the morning show here on Stock Market TV. I am your host this morning, Spencer Israel. I'm also your host every morning, pretty much every morning. I have JC Parets in the house. I got Steve Strazza in the house. I got Alfonso on the P's and Q's in the house. We got Kenny Glick. We got Larry Thompson. We got Louis Sykes. It is Crypto Friday after all. Got to talk crypto. We just got a jobs number like a minute ago. Y'all want to talk about that? Do we care about that? The non-farm and the unemployment? No? Maybe? Does the market care? Let's see. Not really, right? It's quiet. It's quiet. A little pop. A little pop on the futures. All right. Let's bring the guys out. Who do we got here? We got chat. Do we have a chat? We have a chat. Yes, everyone is here. All right, let's go ahead. Start the show. Hit the like. Do all that good stuff. Wake your neighbors. Tell them we're live. We got things to talk about. Places to go. Trades to make. Let's go. Yo.
Good morning.
What's going on?
How are you, Spencer?
I'm great. I'm in a great mood. The Knicks won. Life is good.
And Brunson.
Life is good. It was
great
a good game. It was stressful, but
yeah, they almost blew it. I know. I woke up this morning feeling really special. Not because it's Friday. I actually get depressed on Friday sometimes because I won't have the market for 2 days. But I'm feeling great this morning. I just feel like some really good things are going to happen to me today.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Do they involve hitting balls down a fairway?
Usually nothing good happens when Strazza is trying to hit a ball down a fairway.
I'm feeling 70s energy today.
In the front nine?
1970s?
I have some things to say. Hot honey on the pepperoni pizza. Yes or no?
Can I make a confession?
I love it.
If you want.
Can I make a confession? Like I'm a purist, and I consider my pizza. The caliber of my pizza knowledge and experience and palate is next level.
Yeah.
When I have some of this hot honey pepperoni stuff, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I feel like
dirty.
guilty.
Yeah.
Like I'm being naughty.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I don't hate it.
I'm all in, and I feel. Dude, you nailed it. I couldn't explain the way I feel any better than that. You do. You feel dirty doing it. You feel like you couldn't.
Just don't do it every time, right?
It's so good, Spencer. Oh, my God.
No, I've had it. It is good.
I know. The hot honey. I know. I hate myself for it. I really do.
Just go crazy.
It's not my proudest moment.
Give me some honey on the side. I'm going to dip in it. Like, let's just go.
Dude, after 5 years in California, like I came to the conclusion that the more shit you put on the pizza, the harder you're trying to like hide about how bad it is, right? Like these people out there, they're putting like broccoli on their pizza and like all kinds of shit. These people, they're putting Brussels sprouts on their pizza. I just want to smack them over the face, right? So like someone like that, like me, who thinks that way, and now I'm eating the hot honey. Like I'm talking out of two sides of my mouth. I don't like it.
The Prince Street hot honey is one of the best things God ever gave us.
Yeah.
If you want JC to really hate you, take him to California Pizza Kitchen. He will hate you.
It's not even about that. Like obviously the pizza's terrible at California Pizza Kitchen, but like the fact that you named it that, like really. California Pizza Kitchen? Could you have come up with a worse name?
Yeah.
Like, let's take the state that makes the worst pizza and let's name our pizza place after that state. That would be calling it like Nebraska Sushi. Like what?
I think they have a sister brand called Florida Taco Restaurant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, Mexicans never went to Florida, bro.
The amount of meats that have been delivered to my home over the course of the past 24 hours should be illegal, and I think I need another refrigerator.
I was gonna say you're sending me these pictures. A lot of meat, bro.
Listen, I was shopping the deals, and then I went overboard because I did the Snake River Farms order. That's great beef. But then I also did the Calabria pork store.
Are these New York things? I don't know.
I got a box of super sod headed my way.
These are gold belly things, Spencer.
No, I know. I'm aware.
Yeah, it's dried cured meats, Spencer. Little olives. I got the guanciale, a little capicola. What?
Can we talk markets?
Yeah, sure. Jobs, maybe. All right.
Was there a jobs number? Are they still doing that?
More jobs were added last month than the economists were predicting.
Oh, the economists got it wrong. I can't.
Well, the unemployment rate, they nailed that one. They nailed it. They nailed it.
Unemployment rate's too low. You need more people unemployed. So, it's too low. It's not good.
4.2% is about like the recent long-term average, right? Like somewhere in, if you take COVID out of the equation, last decade or so, right? We've been somewhere around there pretty much.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's not good.
I mean, what is a job at this point? How are we measuring this stuff? Are there supposed to be fewer jobs in the future? What about the robots?
It's a great question.
All right, let's talk about what's going on in the markets this morning. We have the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the world's most important stock market index, up almost 400 points this morning. It's almost a full percent. You got S&Ps up almost a full percent as well. 50 handles to the upside. NASDAQ 100 also up almost a full percent. Monster move out of Microsoft yesterday. Wow, adding what? Someone do the math. What was that, about $200 billion in market cap? No big deal.
A lot of money.
No big deal. Now you got Treasury bonds down 0.5%, 115 and change. You got crude oil flat, just under 60. You got copper back up another 1.5%, 470. Nice bounce back there in copper. Gold up 1.3%, 3260. Silver up 0.75%, 3270. With the VIX getting slammed back down to 22. And then over in funny money land, you got Bitcoin up 438 points, just under 97,000. You got ETH. We got Louis here today to talk about these things. He loves ETH. 1835, flat on the day. You got Solana at 150, flat on the day. And total crypto market cap, Mr. Spencer Israel. Ready for this? 2.97 trillion.
Call it 3.
I won't, because it's not.
I think you could buy.
So how do we feel about the futures this morning?
I think you could buy bonds.
You know, commercial hedgers are super net long bonds. They're long 5s and 10s.
I think you could buy further out on the curve too. I think there's a catch-up move there. Long rates got to come down.
So let me ask you this. So you got commercial hedgers that are loading the boat on bonds across the curve.
Mm-hmm.
You've got highest short positions in the Russell 2000, new 52-week highs in short interest for the Russell 2000. You got multi-year highs in short interest for biotechnology stocks. When you look at the short interest among sectors, regional banks are up there in terms of the highest short interest. So when you think about all that, so you got the smart money suggesting that bonds are going to go up. You got short interest all over in small caps, regionals, biotech suggesting those are going to go up. So do I have this right? Like you fundamental people, the interest rates going down is a good thing for small caps, biotech, regional banks. Do I have that right or no?
I think it's a good thing for most things.
In theory, yes. That's how it's supposed to work, right?
In theory.
The commodity stuff you treat separately.
Which one?
Commodity stocks.
I'm not worried about those. I'm thinking about just generally speaking in the Russell 2000. I see the Russell 2000 short interest hitting new 52-week highs. Then I think about what's in the Russell 2000. You got too many biotechs and you got too many banks, right? And they're shorting the crap out of both of those groups as well. And then the commercial hedgers are betting on falling rates and higher bonds. So if the smart money is right, bonds are going to rip, rates roll over, and all those shorts and the small caps get squeezed. Is that how it's going to play out?
Yeah, and I think the intermarket evidence that you just pointed out is saying this is probably going to be the case louder and louder every day.
All right, so we're agreeing too much here this morning. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. We had We had our monthly conference call yesterday. It was fantastic. 160 charts.
Really?
You know, listen, I don't always feel this way, but I fucking crushed it last night. I mean, what a presentation I put on there. Come on.
What was the best Strazza chart?
The best Strazza chart. You want to know the best Strazza chart? I got to tell you, I'll show the best Strazza chart right now. It was a good one.
Ooh.
It was a good one. Throw up slide. Oh, geez, Louise. Hold on. It's going to be slide 2 here.
Hey, don't look now, but Amazon's flipping green here, Spencer.
I was going to tell you. So Apple and Amazon not quite doing the same thing this morning. Amazon almost got all of it back. It's about, like I said, go green. Apple not so fast, but kind of keep an eye on those two. So,
all right, you ready? Drum roll, please. Here is the best chart that Strazza sent me to include in the presentation yesterday evening.
Yeah, it's really good.
And you know when I included this chart, Strazza, because I know for a fact you haven't watched, right?
I watched the following day. I'm getting there.
You watched the following day. You know, a lot of people do that. You know, I've had hedge fund managers in the past, like before when we didn't have our shit together as much as we do now, and it would take like a few hours into the morning to post the replay video and stuff like that. I would get emails from hedge fund managers be like, "Where's the video?" Because like you're used to just watching it when they get into the office the next morning.
Yeah.
So it's pretty funny. So you're not alone in that.
Well, the Knicks were on last night also, sir.
Oh, the New York Knickerbockers. Yeah. They still have a franchise?
Hey man, they got NBA title in their sights this year.
Hey, so this was the chart. So just to be clear, I put up all the sentiment stuff, and then I included this one right after the sentiment, right? To show that the squeeze potential for equities is certainly there, right? We talked about all of those sentiment data, and then I included this one. And we're talking about how you've been pounding the table on rotation back into speculative growth and mega cap. And you're seeing that from Microsoft yesterday and the bounce back in Amazon today. Not that Amazon is technology, but it's definitely one of those big cap growth.
They're failing.
If this is a squeeze. If that's a failed breakdown, you're spot on. These things are going to rip in everybody's face, man.
And everybody hates them all of a sudden. Went from so loved, right? This theme, so loved, to all of a sudden doesn't work for a couple quarters. Everybody hates it. And the chart patterns are just set up perfectly. And we're seeing it every day, JC. You just mentioned Microsoft, right? All of these techie tops, they're just failing on absolute basis and a relative basis, like one after the next across the board. NVIDIA, not a top. Semiconductors failing their top. Microsoft, not a top, right? They're all digging in here. And I agree. Jim Cramer's with us. Cramer's back on the Mag 7 train. Look, I'm not fading Cramer here. I think he's spot on.
I don't get his research. Does he provide research?
No, I just the chat just informed me.
Oh, cool. Oh, so like his television show or whatever?
He's on the TV a lot, this guy. You know, even more than us.
No, I know. It's weird.
He talks a lot.
Look at I don't know if you guys realize this. I didn't catch this until I went through my review, which is why we do our review. But throw up the new slide 2 there, Spencer. This is a new all-time monthly closing high for aerospace and defense. Look at that stick. Look at that stick from April. Can you zoom in there, Spencer? Look at that stick.
That wick, you mean?
Yeah, you call it, shadow if you're Japanese. Call it what you want.
Yeah.
You people in Jersey have names for all kinds of stuff that the rest of the country don't use, right?
I like spindle.
Spindle? Yeah, that's all right. Is that acceptable for you, Spencer?
That's like a old-timey word, but sure.
I know. My kids love the spindles. But look at that stick that it put in and pushing up against those highs, technically new all-time monthly closing highs. Look at that beast. Then we like to have a good time around here. I know like the no fun police, like some people don't like to have any fun. Some people get, what's really strange is that people get like angry with me that I'm not as angry as they are. Like they want me to be as angry as they are. Like it's really, really odd. So we like to have some fun around here. So if you like to throw up slide 3 and 4, I just want to remind everybody. So these two stocks are within the aerospace and defense index that just closed in new all-time highs, by the way. A couple of the major components. This is the artist formerly known as Raytheon. This is a one RTX, and August of 2020 is when the folks over at Dow Jones decided it would be best to remove this stock from the index.
Remind me, was that when they added Salesforce?
That is potentially either that one or the one before.
It may have been one of those. It was around that time.
I will tell you right now. So this was August of 2020, and this is when they added Salesforce. That is absolutely correct. Well done, Mr. Israel. Well done. They also added Amgen and Honeywell. They brought Honeywell back into the mix after kicking it out a few years earlier. So they kicked out Exxon, Pfizer, and Raytheon. And then if you want to...
I like Pfizer.
What?
What? I like it here. What?
I don't know. I haven't heard you say that before. I don't think.
And of course, Mike Wilson thinks we're going to retest the lows.
I don't think I've ever heard the words "I like Pfizer" come out of your mouth.
You just did. Is Palantir a defense stock or a tech stock? It's a tech stock. They just happen to be one of the largest U.S. government contractors. Palantir is a tech stock.
Palantir is technically a software stock, but it's in the cybersecurity space, right? Which by definition makes it defense. No,
it's the most unique business in the world. You know what Palantir is? It's Palantir.
Yeah.
I hate the categories and the classifications. We spend way too much time on it. I'm writing about that right now. I have to actually take a step back and keep myself from bitching more in the note that I'm about to send to everybody about all these.
You also have to, Steve. You also have to think, how is it treated, right? Amazon is treated like a tech stock. I mean, right? It's
no. Strazza's right, and Strazza's always talking about how the home building stocks trade more like industrials than they do consumer discretionary, and he's been spot on there until recently, anyway.
Yeah,
right?
Don't get stuck on the classifications. They could
Who's
be
Mike Wilson? Was that the guy who fumbled?
Yeah,
Buckner's in the World Series.
No, this is the Morgan Stanley guy, right?
He was bear, and everybody loved him because he was right.
An analyst.
Yeah.
But then he stayed bear too long, and market went bull, and they started to hate him, so they fired him, and now he's still bear.
Yeah,
that's
he was bear in 2022 and 2023 and 2024 and.
Early
Mike
bear,
Wilson, not the guy who made Bill Buckner famous or infamous.
That was Mookie, man. Come on.
Mookie Wilson, not a Morgan Stanley analyst.
Not to my knowledge.
Biotech.
Can we just talk about slide 2, please? Hold on. This is important. So last night I went through all 20 stocks in the trannies, all 20, all 30 in the industrials, right?
Nice.
And then of all the trannies, none of them look like this. None of them.
Because it's
and
tech.
Fun fact, I feel like people forget that Uber was added to the Dow Transports in February of last year.
Could it be?
Don't remember.
Could it be, JC, that it's simply because Uber is actually a tech stock? Well, the rest are really not.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, some of these logistics companies, are they
XPO.
not super tech like Uber?
XPO is techie, right? The logistics names, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, look at that chart, bro.
A lot of gray areas with these things. Yeah.
That's right.
These companies, they do more than one thing.
If you want to throw up slide 2, another one that stood out yesterday, you throw up this slide.
And then I'm bringing Louis out after slide 2.
You know, if it trades like a tech stock and it looks like a tech stock and it acts like a tech stock, it's probably a tech stock.
Well, Israel's got a bunch of tech stocks, and it's not acting like tech stocks. It's just Israel. New all-time highs for the Tel Aviv 125. This thing is a beast, man.
Where's this Jewish defense?
I was gonna say we had a great moment in a meeting yesterday. Sam, I love you, Sam. I don't even know what stock he was talking about anymore, but he called it a Jewish stock. He meant to say Israeli, but he said it was Jewish, and I'm never gonna let him forget that. It was amazing.
I don't think they have Jews in Kansas. He doesn't know.
I don't know. I don't care. I'm just been racking my brain all night as far as what makes a stock Jewish. I think it might not trade on Friday. Is my first guess.
Can we get
doesn't
a Jewish
mix meat and dairy is another? I don't know.
Can we get a Jewish custom index, Sam? If you're listening,
Hold on. Can we so check out Checkpoint. Checkpoint looks solid.
That's his really
on the Israeli side, and then one more for you. The slide 2 there. This is Make My Trip. So this is the Indian price line. Or if we're gonna stick with this is the Hindi Expedia. Spencer, is that what they would be?
I guess.
Make My Trip. I mean, come on, look at the size of that base. Look at the stair step higher.
It's good.
India is back, baby. India is back and in full force. These Indian banks are ripping in your face. Shout out ICICI Bank.
Okay, can I give you one? There's also a Chinese Expedia that's set up perfectly here against its prior cycle highs. It's called Trip.com TCOM. 60 is your level.
This is the Make My Trip of China.
And it's in the Mag 7 basket for China, in my opinion. It's that good. TCOM.
Shout out India. Shout out Rasmalai.
Shout out vacation platforms.
Dude, Strazza has never had Rasmalai. I think you would love it, bro.
Never.
You like tres leches, right?
Love it.
Love it. Okay, good. So if you like tres leches and you're Italian from New York area, so of course you love cheesecake. So tres leches is like if Rasmalai is like if cheesecake and tres leches had a baby in India.
I'm in.
It would be Rasmalai.
I would eat that baby.
Fantastic. Dude, these Indians do not mess around, bro.
Let's go.
Right, I'm bringing Louis out of here.
Suey Louie.
Can we
guys.
talk about how Strazza just called you Suey Louie?
I know. He should be calling me ETH Louis with how I've been talking recently.
Yeah, but it doesn't rhyme. And you've been all over the Suey too, so you can't.
Yeah, I have. Been a fantastic trade. I mean, I love that one. Great relative strength.
Louis, I was talking about the Fijians yesterday with someone, and I was telling them that the Fijians are the nicest people in the whole world, in my experience.
The Fijians?
Right? The Fijians.
Fijians?
Fijians?
Right.
Is that how we pronounce it?
Yeah. Fijians.
I thought it was Fijians. It's not Fijians, it's Fijians.
Yeah.
Is that because I'm American and you're from New Zealand and we just have different accents, or is that really how it is?
Yeah, I guess it's like a tomato kind of thing.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, Pacific Islanders, like the hospitality of Pacific Islanders are just like so nice. It's hilarious. You go around New Zealand, right? And every time there's a big rugby game, you have the Tongans just like driving around in their vans, just like as a family, just like.
What are Tongans?
Thanks, like Tonga is just like another Pacific Island country, and they'll just be like holding their flag out, like driving their vans down the road, just like singing songs, and it's just I love it.
It makes me so happy, those people. And they're not like lazy, they like work hard. They're super happy. I love these guys. Louis, so I mean, these things keep going. BTC above 97,000 as we speak. We're always asking each other when moon. Seems like mooning. Good mooning, good mooning.
It's looking great out there, I gotta say. And I mean, we've been riding over the last month or so that the worst is behind us. We got that retest of the 2024 highs in Bitcoin. And again, there was no reason to be overly bearish into that. And so I thought that the worst was behind us and that we're seeing evidence that the market was stabilizing. And now we're seeing that manifest, right? We're seeing Bitcoin just a stone's throw away from 100,000. And what I've been writing about is that I think that ETH, I think that's where the opportunity is lying right now, where everybody has just discounted ETH. Everybody's so pessimistic. It's just been a terrible place to be invested in crypto. Hell, like it's down 50% year to date. It's closer to 40% now after this recent rally, but still 50% down year to date. And I think it's just tremendously stretched to the downside where everybody's really pessimistic. But we got to remember that it's actually still the second largest asset in the asset class, and there's actually still some level of development happening there. And so I think that we retested these 2018 highs that you're showing here, and I think really again this comes back to what we've been writing about at Bitcoin and SUI it's the same trade. We've held these support levels, and I just think we've transitioned from risk to opportunity here.
When you're looking at Ethereum and Solana, Solana putting in new all-time highs relative to ETH over the last couple of quarters. You think this is going to be a massive failure?
My bet, gun to my head, yes, I think so. I think that ETH will begin outperforming. I think it's the underdog, and it's the one that I'm betting on. Of course, what we're looking at is the Solana ETH ratio, and so again, just like you said, JC, it's broken out, and Solana's really just been the place to be invested. That's where a lot of the activity is taking place. But I think just with how stretched to the downside this trend is within Ethereum, I think it makes sense to see that happen. And we're entering into this new period, right? We've been almost in this bear market. And so if there was ever going to be a time for this regime, for this leadership to change, I think now would be it. And so even if you zoom into the daily chart there, just zooming in, we're actually still hovering around those recent highs. And so I think this is actually a good place for ETH to begin outperforming even something like Solana, which has really been the strongest in the asset class.
Well, how do we feel about this chart? Here you have it.
Yeah, that's the chart. I mean, zooming in a little bit more, of course, that's what I'm talking about. When you zoom in a little bit more, it's still hovering around those highs. But look, I just think that ETH is really a big underdog, and a lot of people have really discounted it.
But we won't know if this is a failed breakout or not until we break back below those late 21 highs.
Yeah, and so look, you can continue to play it a little bit more passive and to say, hey, look, I'm just going to stick with the leaders in the crypto asset class. I'm just a regular bloke who just wants to have a little bit of crypto allocation, so I'm just going to allocate my money towards the strongest cryptocurrencies. And so that's obviously been Solana, right? That's been Bitcoin, and even if you're a little bit late to the trend, it's all right. And so I'm obviously in the asset class. I can afford to be a little bit more nimble. I'm really bullish ETH. That's where I think the opportunity is. But hey, look, if the trend just continues to trend lower for ETH, then sure, I'll change my bet and I'll move back to favoring the leaders. But I think that just being a little bit more nimble right now, I think that we're beginning to see this trend shift in ETH. And then I think that's actually really bullish for the space, right? Where we've had concentrated leadership throughout this entire market, where less than 10% of altcoins have really been outperforming Bitcoin. And it's actually been one of the weirdest crypto bull markets of all time, actually, because we've had 2 consecutive 60% drawdowns over the last 18 months for the average altcoin. That's unreal. And so this is in the context of the most bullish news cycle for crypto, right? And so I think even if you got that, if you get that push in ETH, where ETH begins to outperform, I think that would be tremendously bullish for the asset class. I think you would see more expansion. I think you would see more expansion down the cap scale. And I think that really makes sense, just everything that's going on from a political and regulatory perspective, right? Where you've got the SEC out there. I'm reading headlines every single day that's just overwhelmingly positive. And you haven't really seen that be reflected in the ecosystem itself yet. And I think that a lot of that comes back just to a realignment of expectations, where Washington is moving forward, but they're moving forward in quite a glacial pace. They're doing so quite methodically, quite calculated. But I think that we're setting a really good framework here for alts and the entire crypto ecosystem to really begin working higher.
Louis, one of the things that I want you to mention before you hop is yesterday in the meeting, in the analyst meeting, you were talking about, I mean, we were all talking about it and came to an agreement that, like, Ethereum being the quote unquote currency of the blockchain and DeFi and all of these things just getting destroyed is just not great for the ecosystem and the industry and the asset class. It's just not good. But think about the implications of what Ethereum at $1 trillion in market capitalization is going to do to all of those things. The altcoins, Bitcoin, Solana, Coinbase, MicroStrategy, Mara, Riot, Wolf, all these things. Just think about the implications. It's less about, oh my God, we're buying Ethereum, at 250, 300 billion, selling it at $1 trillion, and more about what is going to benefit the most from Ethereum heading up towards $1 trillion in market capitalization? And I think that's seriously on the table. Can you talk about like what you think that means for the market in general and for anybody invested in crypto?
Well, what I'll say to you is that I think, again, this comes back to what I said before, where we've been in this really concentrated leadership throughout this entire bull market. But then towards the latter stages of bull markets, what tends to happen, and this isn't just a crypto thing, this happens in every market, right? We almost get that little bit of that mania phase where you got the speculative end really begins to work higher. You see this a lot in stocks, right? During the end of cycles or the end of bull markets, you see the speculative end really catch up. And you see that particularly in crypto. And they call this the alt season, the banana season, a lot of funny names in crypto, right? And so I think this really makes sense that, like you said, even if we get this push in ETH and we get an ETH close to $1 trillion in market cap, that'll be tremendous. And so I think that will just really showcase that there's a lot of opportunities to be made. And we're doing a lot more work just diving into some of these new and exciting coins that are being created every single day in the ecosystem that are a little bit underneath the surface outside of Coinbase. And it seems like there's actually a lot of interesting activity taking place there. And so I think just the market's really set up to have that expansion and breadth. And I think we're really going to see that play out, particularly if we can see ETH and others begin to outperform in 2025.
Louis, this is a great question that I get sometimes. Not as much as you would think, but I do get it. What is the best vehicle in which to express a bullish thesis in crypto, but in TradFi?
I mean, Coinbase, right?
Like using TradFi vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, Coinbase, right? If you've got MicroStrategy and Coinbase, and again, it comes back to just this theme that we continue talking about, where MicroStrategy is to play on Bitcoin because they're basically just a Bitcoin holding company. And then you've got Coinbase, which is they are creating all these diversified revenue streams. And I'm sure Strazza is going to jump in any moment. He's got the biggest man crush on Brian Armstrong. And for good reason, right? Because they're diversifying their revenue streams and they're really becoming, oh, there we go. Yep. Speak of the devil. As soon as you mention Brian Armstrong, Steve just comes straight back in because look, Coinbase is just doing everything right. They are really just an awesome play on the crypto ecosystem. And so Strazza, I mean, you can talk about that, right?
No, you nailed it. Industry leader, right?
Yeah,
they have quite
totally.
the moat. So this is their game to lose at this point. Could you think of a better long-term vehicle?
Yeah, totally. And I think a big risk, right, in crypto is that it's so cyclical. And so what they're doing is they're actually creating their business model in a way which it almost reduces the risk and mitigates the risk of that cyclical nature of crypto.
Dude, have you ever heard of a brokerage launching a subscription model successfully? That's what Coinbase has done. Paying these guys every month. I don't pay Schwab every month. Seriously.
Can you throw up slide 2? In case anybody's wondering which one is better, MicroStrategy or Coinbase. This is like I feel like Adam Sandler. Shampoo is better.
I said long
conditioner is better.
I said long term because the numerator here simply does not have a sustainable business model.
Here we go. Who gives a fuck about a business model?
Because JC, the question that you asked was, what is the best long-term play? If you're gonna ask, hey, Louis,
I'm out.
What's the best play for 2025?
Like, are we really gonna fight a
Coinbase.
trend because Strazza's butthurt about their business model? Like, really?
Hey, JC, don't be mad at me for answering the questions.
I'm not mad at anybody. I'm asking the question. Like, are we really gonna fight this trend because Strazza thinks that it's not a sustainable business model to have a publicly traded Ponzi scheme? No? Give me the Ponzi scheme. I'd rather have the Ponzi scheme than the good business. Does that make me a bad person?
I think that some of the smart money is going to reveal to us in probably the next 6 to 12 months. Everybody is on the MicroStrategy trend. And I think the smartest money are looking at MicroStrategy right now as a prime opportunity to take advantage and exploit. And so I think we're going to see that manifest over the next 6 to 12 months.
But I don't understand why we can't just wait for the market to tell us. By the way, I'm long MicroStrategy and Coinbase. So I'm like, just
Hey, look, great.
to be clear.
And that's fantastic. Look, and don't get me wrong, I'm bullish MicroStrategy. I think it continues to work higher. But again, what's the best long-term play? Is it something that's got all that risk that it's just a concentrated bet and they're just dishing out and creating all this leverage for Bitcoin that's already a leverage play, relatively speaking? Or is it going to be a company that's actually creating these diversified revenue streams within crypto?
Hold on, get Strazza back in here. I have a legit question. Strazza, come on in. Come on back in. We're going to be nice to you. I'm going to be nice to you, I promise.
No, because it's like you're confused about what you're discussing right now.
Strazza.
You're asking a question, and then you get angry when we answer your question.
Nobody's angry, bro. I'm perfectly happy. Have a nice little morning. Got my coffee. I got 3 coffees in front of me. I got more coffee than I could drink. Because I get my 2 coffees, and then my wife brings me another coffee. So, okay. Strazza, next 3 months, which one wins? MicroStrategy or Coinbase?
Ooh.
You'd rather have the Ponzi scheme. You'd rather have it. You don't want that good business model. You want the Ponzi.
I don't know. It's hard. I think there's a big catch-up move in Coinbase is cheap.
What, is this line not going from the lower left to the upper right?
Well aware of the situation.
Have all of us gone crazy?
Longer than everybody in this. I'm fully aware. The simple point that I was trying to make, I don't know about 3 months. I think you own both of them, right? I'm in the Connell and the MXTU right now.
I got both. I got the options. I'm in.
Great. I think most of us have been in for a couple of weeks now. But Coinbase is different. I don't think about it. It's in my IRA. It's going to be there for a long time. It's going to be worth so much money one day. I'm so excited. But it's going to take time. And I'm not going to worry about it.
Distinction here. Got it. So Coinbase is for the IRA, and the MicroStrategy is for the trading account.
Yeah, totally.
All right. I don't have a problem with that.
Like Coinbase, that's one you could just buy when it's cheap and tuck it away. MicroStrategy, you got to worry about.
MicroStrategy is one for the banana zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think wise guys got it right. Ponzi in the short term, coin in the long term. Like that makes sense. Like in theory, I guess we'll see. All right. I'll buy that.
And don't snooze on the QB. If we're talking about crypto stocks, don't forget the QB. Banks are waking up here.
So this is the crypto bank that they did not choke point 2.0.
I mean, who did these guys know? They got hooked.
Were they already in existence at the time?
I don't know, but they were ready to take everybody's customers.
Nice. Good for them. It's, such as the government just shut down banks for no reason. But,
They used to talk about that on their earnings calls. How the accounts were just pouring in back when that happened.
All right, Louis, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I'm curious what's on your shirt there. Jump, pass, right, left, maths, X, Y.
What is that?
So in America, we play this game called football.
Right, you gotcha.
We play football in America, and this is my playbook. This is my playbook because we're market participants. We have playbooks. Like you see what I did there?
That's cute. Morgan bought that for you?
I have no idea. Probably. I haven't bought any clothes in.
Yeah, you do.
I buy clothes when Strazza's like, oh, you got to try these like hairy dogs or whatever. What are they called?
Yeah, bird dogs.
Bird dogs.
I went out to dinner the other night, guys. Listen to this, okay? And I'm wearing my best shirt. I feel like I look so good. It's like a fancy shirt. I love this shirt. I look so good, right? I'm looking at myself in my mirror before I go out, like, you handsome devil, you. I walk in to like the symphony, and I swear, man, this guy, the first guy we see, as soon as we walk in, we're sitting at the table right next to him, same exact shirt, and I swear to God, I think he was wearing the bird dog's pants too. I think we had literally the same exact outfit on. My mind was blown. What are the odds of that? So we're outfit buddies now.
That's weird.
All right. I got something to say, but thank you, Louis, for being here, my friend. You are the man. Appreciate you. If this Louis doesn't start going up, I'm going to be really upset. So.
Right. Yep.
Louis.
Cheers, guys. You have a great weekend.
Adios. I want to talk about the Buffett indicator.
Yeah.
The Buffett indicator. I think you said it right. So like this is like a PSA. It's a public service announcement for all journalists out there. If anybody's listening, pay attention. This is not hard. All right. I know life can be hard sometimes. This is not hard. Warren Buffett once, like 4 decades ago, described some ratio between the market cap of stocks and something that they refer to as GDP, whatever that might be. Since then, he has not mentioned it once ever. Charlie Munger says they don't look at it. And yet, once a week, one of these journalists like writes some article about Warren Buffett's favorite indicator. It's not his favorite indicator. He doesn't give a shit. Fucking stop. Stop. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing your colleagues. You're embarrassing the entire journalism industry. Warren Buffett doesn't give a shit about it. Stop lying to people.
Go ahead, Steve. No.
Just a quick, as somebody who's followed his moves very closely for a long time now, my best advice for your everyday investor is you're not Warren Buffett. So maybe your process shouldn't be like his. Maybe your indicator shouldn't be the Buffett indicator unless you're Warren Buffett.
That's right. JC, he's probably mentioned it more than once, but the point still stands. And I think 98% of content about Warren Buffett misses the point because Steve is right. We are not Warren Buffett. He invests how he invests. He invests for the long term.
Can we just talk about how this man is 95 years old and he's investing for the long term?
He has a legendary tolerance for pain. He is
this man can wear a drawdown like no
off the charts pain tolerance that I couldn't even fathom the amount of pain that he.
If I had 300 billion in cash, I'd be good with a drawdown too. Don't worry.
Warren Buffett must smoke so much weed.
I mean, he eats a lot of McDonald's and cherry Coke. I mean, you'd think he's probably got munchies all the time.
A lot of weed getting smoked over there at Berkshire.
I mean, he just sits there reading all day. Like he's got to be smoking something.
So Spencer, what is your day like tomorrow? Like you really look forward to this event? You get together with your friends? Does like everybody bring like some sort of food? You guys have like
a potluck Berkshire Hathaway meeting?
Like, I'm impressed that you know that it's tomorrow, JC. You do know. You know it's tomorrow.
Because I know somebody who's going.
Oh, okay.
There's somebody going, and they were asking online for some advice, and Morgan Housel responded saying, "Don't go to the event, just go to the bars around there."
That's the best advice for any conference.
I will say the event the actual meeting part of it. I think I said this last year. I was like super like hyped up, and then I realized about 30 seconds in, like, oh, he's like a really old man. He talks like a really old man.
Yeah, it takes
a while. Like everyone is all hyped, and then Warren comes out and it's hyped, and then he starts talking, and the energy of the room just gets like sucked out because he's like 95-year-old man, you know, talking slow and with a very measured pace, and people around me are. My dad is sleeping. Like, I mean, like people around me are sleeping. You know, it's not easy to stay awake and listen to a 95-year-old man kind of drone for like an hour and a half, right? So. You know, maybe not the most hype event I've ever
We just talk about the chat's on fire right now. Buffett's secret wake and bake on the way to McDonald's. What a great quote here. Don't bogart that joint, Charlie. Don't bogart that joint.
Spencer, I would imagine that did you
Warren
go to the
Buffett?
last?
Come on, Warren Buffett. That's a good one. Chat's on fire, guys.
Spencer went up to the chat. Spencer went a few years back. Did you catch the last Munger?
No, I went last year. So I
okay.
Yeah. I missed it by a couple months.
I'm
getting memories in my phone now. You know, like your phone gives you like on this day, I'm getting memories of like, oh, you were in Omaha last year. But
be like seeing the last Jimmy Buffett concert.
Yeah. So the point I was making though was that, like 98% of like, you know, the article is about how Buffett sees a recession because he's raising cash is totally missing the point. You have to actually read.
He was right.
If you actually read his letters, you understand more how he thinks. It's the only way to do it is to read the letters. You can't just like assume that he's like you and me because he is not, right?
Okay, guys.
When I'm 95 years old. For the record, I am not going to be investing for the long term.
Right.
I might be waking and baking on the way to McDonald's. I might be doing that, but I'm not going to be investing in the long term.
Charlie Munger smoked too much and got the Charlie hunger.
Dude, the chat is on fire today. Come on, guys. Give it up for the chat. Come on. Well done. Well done, guys.
I got something important to say. So I was doing some deep research, some AI research while you guys were talking to Louis. If you just throw up the first slide here, I just want to publicly state here that Jack Dorsey has one of two options at this point, because you can't be this bad and look the way he does. So Jack Dorsey either needs to cut his hair right now or resign as the CEO of whatever the fuck you want to call this company at this point. So AI believes that Jack Dorsey has not gotten a haircut in almost 10 years. Who knows if it's true? It's difficult to say definitely whether Jack Dorsey has cut his hair recently, as there isn't any specific information available. While he's been known to maintain a neat and well-groomed appearance, there haven't been any... What are you doing here? So that's it. That's my petition to Jack Dorsey and the board of XYZ.
So Jack Dorsey is the CEO of a company that used to be called Square, then it was Block, now it's XYZ. Do I have that correct?
Yes.
That's pretty impressive. Come on. Are you guys impressed? You didn't know that I knew that.
He did cut his beard.
I did not know you knew that. That's correct.
Do you think he's Satoshi?
No. I think he's secretly homeless.
I don't think he's secretly homeless. But you don't think he's Satoshi? There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there suggesting that he might be.
Nope.
No.
I think he blows it every time he runs a company. That's who Jack Dorsey is.
So you think he just got lucky with the Twitter and everything else he's done has sucked? Like, you're one of those guys?
Yeah, he's a founder, not an operator. They're different.
Twitter was not a good stock. Let's not forget.
Terrible.
It was actually quite a bad stock for a very long time.
Well, let's remember that the job of a CEO is to increase shareholder value, and he did that.
He must hang out with Evan from Snapchat.
All I'm saying is they have one job: increase shareholder value, and he did that.
The
company may have sucked, but the shareholders made a lot of money.
I don't know if he was the CEO. I don't even remember because he left and he came back and he left and he came back. It was a whole thing. But we got Larry Thompson in the house, so let's bring him out and then we'll get out of here. Maybe we'll do some recess after that. But Larry, you're around? He's around.
Bring him out. Yo, Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Larry the Legend in the house.
Yo.
I had a nice little dinner with Mr. Thompson this week. That was lovely, sir.
Yeah, it was great. Some champagne, caviar. Can't complain about that, can you?
We were on a boat. So Perlman has an exception. I don't know if you guys know this, but despite all of the rules about protein and no carbs and all this stuff, Perlman's exception is that if you're eating caviar, it's okay to have the chip or the, know.
I have a number of carve outs to my plan. Yeah.
You have a number of carve outs. Well, Perlman does not have a number.
Carve outs.
But if you're eating the caviar, it's okay.
Yeah, caviar is always okay.
I thought you were going to say if he's on a boat, which would make a lot of sense because
anything's okay on a boat. You could eat anything on a boat.
Right. I was going to say
anything's okay on a boat.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You can have spaghetti if you're on a boat.
Dude, but they don't typically serve boat, man.
Spaghetti
on
a boat.
Bummer. I'm never on a boat.
Well,
boats are so overrated.
That's not true.
Yeah, you get out there and you're like trapped out there and somebody else is making the decisions and you don't know where you're really even going or where you are.
Well, Strazza got trapped at sea in a bad storm and now he's traumatized.
We're taking some time off from
All right, Larry Thompson, how'd you like your trip to New York? You have a good time?
Yeah, New York's great. I love where I live. But it's good for 2 days. Good to get in the city, see some people, eat some food, shake some hands, kiss some babies.
That speakeasy, that Dead Rabbit, that was good eating there late night. Huh?
Yeah. Definitely had to get back on the stair mill this morning, get some calories off, but it was great. So yeah, enjoyed it. Good to hang out with some folks. Now it's back to looking at the charts, seeing what we can do with this.
Who were you most excited to see in New York City, or who were you most excited afterwards when you're like, oh, I can't believe I met so-and-so?
It's good to meet Brian Shannon. Haven't met Brian Shannon yet. So he was someone that I've followed a lot of his work for a long time. He was really great to meet. Yeah, it's probably the biggest guy I was excited to just see. I met Michael Batnick, which was great. Just seeing the way they've kind of done content and built what they've built over the last couple of years has been sick. So yeah, it was good to meet those two.
Love it.
Oh, we have some charts, by the way, from Larry.
Yeah. So what are you thinking, Larry? It's Friday. It's a new month. People are angry. Consumer sentiment down in the dumps. Individual investors, more than half of them are bearish for 10 weeks in a row. That's never happened in the history of the data that goes back to the 1980s.
Yeah.
Potentially getting rotation into technology and speculative growth. We've certainly been positioned for that and continue to be. So we're rooting for it. What do you think?
Yeah. So I think, Spencer, if you want to share that monthly chart, I know, shout out to JC in the monthly. He's actually the one who got me into looking at those monthly charts, but that 40 week or the 40-month average on the SPY monthly. I'm conflicted, to be honest, because I think the trade was as an investor when we tested those prior cycle highs, right? That 480 level. This is the 40-month moving average. The reason I'm looking at this chart is because the thing I like to see.
It's a long moving average.
It is. But the point of this is, if everyone's talking about a recession, this is the point. It's bear market and recession, right? So recession, as JC said, sentiments in the dumps. And what you typically see is price will let you know if we're going to get a recession before anyone else will. And typically what you'll do is you'll see a breakdown of this 40-month moving average. You saw it during the dot-com bubble, recession, and bear market. You saw it during the housing crisis, recession, bear market. You saw it during COVID, recession, bear market. So you look at these other exceptions, right? You could call it a bear market. We'll just say a 20% correction. But what tends to happen is that 40-month moving average serves as the floor. And what did we see when we also saw this? We saw the VIX, right, at 50, 60. We've seen terrible sentiment. And so from a technical perspective, if you were looking at this, it was a hold your nose and buy. And it wasn't because you knew the future. It was because this longer-term trend, those prior cycle highs, it's just a great looking place to get long for those longer term accounts. And I think now, right, we have percent above moving averages kind of at a point where short term, I think we might be a little extended. And so what I want to see is I kind of want to see the market get punched. Spencer, if you want to go to the moving average chart, I think that kind of highlights what I'm thinking through right now in terms of what's next, right? Okay, we've had the move. We've had an 18% move, right? So you see here the percent above.
Is that right? This one?
Yeah, great. Yeah. So here you see the percent above a 20-day and then 50, 100, 200, right? So the point is that we've had a lot of short-term strength, right, within the context of a secular bull market. And so what I want to see here now is I want to see these 20-day above moving averages follow through to those 50-day and then those 100-day and then those 200-day. Duh, right? Because that's where the repair will occur. We've really, with price the past 3 weeks, we've just gotten back to where we were 3 weeks ago, right? That key 560 level that JC's talked about. And so I think short term, like I'm not adding today, right? I'm waiting till we get probably over 560. I'm waiting to see if the market can kind of take a punch. But yeah, I think if we do that and we kind of see the follow through into the 50, 100, 200, that's where I think we'll see some strength. Yeah, that's kind of where I am. As an investor, I'm long. As a short-term trader, I'm long. The intermediate-term trend is still the one that needs to recapture these levels to kind of get stronger. And it's close, right? They're close on these charts. And you can't wait, right? Everyone wants to wait until everything's beautiful. That's probably when the meat of the moves occurred. But I still think you got to look at some of these intermediate-term trends and see we're not above those levels yet for the majority of stocks.
Larry, but what about the ones that are? Right, you talk about the indexes and a lot of generalities, but there are laggards and leaders within all of the things that you're describing. So what about the areas that are already doing well?
Cool, buy the leaders then, right? Like that is the answer.
Is that what you're doing? Buy the leaders? Because we're doing the opposite. We're buying the laggards for a rotation.
So like I guess like so for example, like a Palantir, right? A Rocket Lab, some of those names, right? You stay long in that leadership, and then sure things like semiconductors and home builders. I love what Mary was saying the other day about home builders. If those are not a tops, it's because you have that well-defined risk to kind of mean reversion trade those positions. But if you look at this is more of if I'm looking underneath the surface, obviously there's rotation that's occurring from those leadership levels, but I do want to see continued follow through because right, these could just be necklines, right? I know that oops type of pattern is building, but what if that oops pattern fails? So that's where I guess I'm not as bullish as some people are on that intermediate term trend because I just kind of want to see it flip.
This is what Larry's talking about. This is one of the charts that we were talking about yesterday. By the way, Spencer, can you drop the link? If anybody missed last night's conference call, we had 160 charts. You don't want to miss it. Download the deck, see the trade ideas. Spencer, if you could drop the link in the chat, that'd be great. But this is the one that really caught my attention. This was a Strazza chart, to his credit. Strazza, and I think it describes what you're talking about, Larry, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I have two charts just like this. I think to piggyback this, if you look at RSP, the S&P 500 equal weight looks just like this. You look at MAGs, it looks just like this. And so I think the answer is the real fight is just about to start. I think we got back in the ring. I think we had extreme oversold conditions, extreme capitulation. Now it's okay. This is where, right? Look, I think about John Roque. John Roque said, I expect to rally back to the 50-day. That's where we are, right? So people who were even calling it a bear market still expected this type of rally. And so now it's, can the market put its hands up? Can home builders flip this level back into support? Can semiconductors flip this level back into support? Software has already done it, which is great to see. I like software IGV as a whole, which is cool to see. But yeah, I think you just have to respect these levels until we get above it. Kind of like you say sometimes, right? Like, I'm willing to pay more once we get above these levels.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. There's some names underneath the surface that are already acting well. Like Broadcom, for example, looks way better than NVIDIA or Taiwan Semi.
Yeah.
So there are names in there showing relative strength.
Yeah, AVGO does look good.
Yesterday, Strazza was pulling this, but it's such a great company thing, telling me about NVIDIA. You know, and I was like, would you rather own the better company or do you rather own the better stock?
Well,
Strazza's like, I'm long both.
a lot of times they're one and the same, right? So
No,
you gotta be
rarely
super-
are they one and the same, Spencer. Shame on you. Don't ever say that again. Not in my presence.
Larry, you think this was a garden variety bounce? Nothing special?
garden variety.
I think so. If I was thinking about this morning.
You made JC mad.
Good. Love it. No, for me, it just, I know people are like, no one can explain it and blah, blah, blah. But I think a lot of people, expected this, right? It's positioning got extreme, right? Capitulation was extreme. We were seeing oversold levels we hadn't seen in years. And so you look at 2022, we had two 18% rallies in the 22 bear market. So it's like, it's just hard for me to trust data when I also am a chartist. Because, like, yeah, I can trust data that, hey, the lows might be in. But then I look at stocks, I look at home builders, I look at equal weight, I look at these other areas. I'm like, they're still just right below that level that gets me comfortable with the intermediate term trend changing. Because what if it's just a mean reversion? What if we should short here, right? What if we should short against 560 and underneath the surface we see, you know, the laggards of this bounce lead, and then we just chop sideways and it's a mean reversion market. You have to think through that because trend hasn't worked really well in the United States this year.
Sure. So with every day that we just keep bouncing and the bears don't show up, does your opinion start to slowly change and you become more open to the V?
For sure. And I think that's where time frame is important. I got lucky and bottom ticked 480 because of the prior cycle high lining up with the 200-day moving average. But that was as a Roth IRA investor. That wasn't as a.
I was going to say great trade.
Yeah, but that wasn't as a That wasn't as a intermediate term time frame trade. And so now it's, can we get this intermediate term trends back as a whole? And Spencer, if you share that RSP chart, looks just like those other charts. And I think that's the one chart that can kind of explain what the market's done. Is it's gotten back just to where it was, that equal weight S&P 500. Like, I know I drew the little, it looks like a topping, but if this is a failed top, that's big. But one of the features of a bear market or a correction is a lot of movement with not a lot of progress. And we've recovered in 3 weeks all of this bad price action, but that's all we've done. We've just gotten back to where we were 3 weeks ago. And so data, it looks great, but these charts, I'm just like, And yes, I'm buying leadership underneath the surface. I'm just more talking if it's the bottom. I think if it's the bottom, we stay above that 40-week moving average. We stay above 480. We make a higher low here. And I don't know if short term, this is a place where I'm adding exposure until we get back over this key level here in this equal weight.
Seems reasonable.
It's boring, right? Like I am buying some leadership under the surface, but just from a broader market perspective, this is how I'm looking at it. I see the breadth thrust, I see the data, but then I also look at charts, and this isn't pretty. This isn't like the most beautiful setup in the world on this time frame. So,
You think the people who are bullish aren't looking at charts, or maybe they're just weighing their evidence differently from you?
I think the people that are bullish have been right for 3 weeks. Right. And so I think, right, we've had a really strong move the past 3 weeks. And so I don't think it's a matter of not looking at the charts, but I think it's a matter of, right, there is some leadership under the surface. There is starts that are starting to go up. We are starting to reclaim, but it's shorter time frame still to me.
There's a great question here for you from the chat.
Yeah.
Christos, Larry, have you ever heard of Vietnam?
I have.
Good.
Love me some Vietnam coffee.
Yep. It's a bit sweet.
Yeah, and I would say too, right? If we're talking about the U.S. market internationally, I love Argentina. I'm exposed to Mercado Libre. I wrote about that this week in Thompson's 2 cents. I like some of these international names that look great. I think that's why Bitcoin is doing so well. I think Bitcoin's doing well because it's not just a U.S. I think the decoupling is occurring in Bitcoin because it's not just a U.S. tech stock. It's just a international tech stock, right? And I think that's what it is. And so that's one of the reasons I do like it. But I struggle to be super bullish intermediate term, and that's what I tend to trade when it comes to like the United States. Microsoft looks great longer term, but now it has work to do. These distribution patterns that we're building didn't take 3 weeks to build. They've took months to build.
The April jobs report makes a June rate cut less likely, even though that is a world away, because there will only be one more. Listen up. Because there will only be one more employment report before then. For now, it means the Fed doesn't have to say anything on June at next week's meeting. That's from Nick Timareos, your Fed whisperer over at the Wall Street Jangle.
Okay. Actually, I do. He is good. You
gotta listen.
Yeah,
He's
he knows what's up.
He's friends with Powell.
All right, let's do a recess and let's get the heck out of here. All right.
No, I think the yield thing, I'll mention something real quick about the yields. I mean, look at energy, right? Is energy of staying above that, that key level there was $80 roughly, $80, and it's staying in this range. I think the Fed doesn't have to rush anything. We start to see energy break down, right? I think you can worry a little bit more about yields, but yeah, they're consolidating. It's not a downtrend.
The Fed's not giving the market a cut if we're Ving out of here. That's it. I know that's not supposed to be the data that they pay attention to, but I got news for you. If we V out of here, you're not getting a cut. If we bang low or something like Larry's saying and go on to retest the lows, I think you get a cut. I think it's that simple.
And that's the thing about a V bottom is it typically comes with this federal stimulus. It typically comes with help outside the market. It's normally not the market itself.
Okay. Stop, because your sample size is 1 for that.
No, it's 2. It's 2, Steve.
I hear V bottoms and coming and V bottoms. Like, what is happening here?
Look, I'll tell you the same. I'll tell you something that was similar about the last time we V'd in 2020. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody was open to the V. Feels a lot like today.
Weren't we all over that?
No, we nailed the V, but then we got bearish again too soon after a quick mean reversion rally.
And then it went.
We nailed the V, then we flipped bear like 3 weeks later, and the market kept going. Then we jumped on. But everybody did that back then. Everybody retest, no V. It's not how it works.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it that or not. We got to get above 560 for the S&P, and I think that's a cleaner level to manage risk against. You manage it against 520, and you have a good trade. You had a good trade against 480. Now, I just think this is where the fight begins. This is just what I think.
I like that. All right, we're doing a recess. Larry, why don't you hang out?
I just want to give a shout out to the VIX. The volatility index down almost 70% over the last month. Shout out to the VIX. I know people get butthurt when you talk about percentage moves in the VIX. I'm going to say it anyway because I'm out of fucks to give. So,
great.
VIX, shout out.
I want to give a shout out to journalism, not the practice, the horse. I think for the first time in my life, I'm going to bet on the Kentucky Derby this year. Journalism is a 3-1 favorite to win the Kentucky Derby. JC, you might want to bet on Citizen Bull at 20-1, but I'll be betting on journalism to win the Kentucky Derby.
Are you suggesting I'm more of a speculator than you are?
I thought Citizen Bull is more in line with Your
3-1 is just not enough juice for me.
No, but it's not juice it's no juice at all, actually. But
especially with the horsies. I'm not a money
shit.
line guy. You know, if it's money line, I'm taking the dog like almost every time because I want that juice.
Anyway, shout out journalism. I'll be watching, and I'm in your corner.
Shout out Fridays, guys. Fridays are for taking chances, taking some risks out there in the arena, right? Hitting lots of birdies. So happy Friday, everybody. And may all of your call options expire in the money.
I love how he like talks about like birdies, like he's always like putting for birdie all the time. Like
there's gonna be some birds today.
I've played golf with you. Like you're not doing any of those things.
JC, if I could just not 3-putt everything, I'd be birdies all day. Birdies all day. Because I'm up there on the dance floor every time. I'm up there, okay? In the arena.
You hear what Mickelson said about Augusta? Mickelson said about Augusta that you could take a regular scratch golfer, like just like a regular good golfer, not a professional, a regular good golfer, and put him in Augusta against Phil, right? Yeah. And Phil will start all 18 holes on the tee box, and he'll put the other guy on the furthest distance away from the pin on the green.
Yeah.
And Phil will beat him.
Win.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
He's one of those Augusta freaks. Like he's got that course.
That's crazy to think about. And like he says that confidently. And honestly, I think I believe after seeing those greens, I believe him.
Yeah. He's the coolest golfer since John Daly.
Love it.
Larry, what do you got?
I'm disappointed you guys aren't talking about playoff hockey. Shout out to playoff hockey. The Avalanche, come on. The Avalanche yesterday, right? Won in overtime to put it to a game 3 against the Dallas Stars. Florida Panthers look great. I'm a Carolina Canes fan. We just won our series in double overtime. So tune into some playoff hockey. Real men's sport right there.
I always thought Cubans don't know anything about hockey, right? But I will be honest with you, full disclosure.
To watch
if the Devils would have won this week and gone to a game 6 in Jersey, I was going to go.
Were you?
I was.
You didn't tell me. I would have gone with you.
I was gonna go with my wife. I love you.
Oh,
but
all right.
Having like a baby, you're supposed to stay home, bro. You're not going there.
Yeah, stay home.
I got a few weeks. Yeah, tough one for my team. All right, playoff hockey. If you ever get the chance to go, there's nothing quite like it. All right, awesome. What do we got today? JC, you're going live this afternoon, aren't you? You're doing a little stream with Riley, are you not?
We're talking about the future. We're talking about the future.
Yeah, 3:00 right here on the channel. JC and Riley talking about the future and AI and how to play it, how to buy it. AI industrial names maybe might come up as well. I don't know.
There's some trader chatter on ASTS this morning, and apparently some big institutional stake. People are trying to figure out a reason for this move, so that's interesting.
Wow, 11% move higher. ASTS, dude. The top 10 performing names over the last year are all like space and AI and quantum shit and like batteries. Like it's wild. So pay attention to this group. I don't think it's going anywhere.
ASTS never gave it, and like it never got below 20. It got below 20 for like 2 days. Like it's crazy.
That's that relative strength, Spencer. It's a hell of a drug. And shout out Twilio and Reddit had some good reports yesterday.
They did. Yes, Reddit especially. Not so much for Block. What are you gonna do? Or Atlassian. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop us a like, subscribe to the channel, and check out all the links in the description. The links to the Strazza letter and the Hot Corner and the chart report and all the free research we put out is in there. Most of it, at least, is in there. Check it out. We'll see you this afternoon for the stream with JC and Riley. And if we don't, then we'll see you on Monday. Go make some money. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weather.
Yo,
we'll get a haircut, Jack Dorsey. That's what normal humans do on the weekends.
That beaver off your face too. What is that?
I can't take no loss.